Hey, what's up everyone? Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye here, and we're going to talk about this little guy. The lens. The Nikon 50 1.8D. So this video is going to get too crazy. I just wanted to highlight a couple things because this is one of the basic lenses you can own as a Nikon and even Canon user. This is Nikon's version of the Canon's Nifty 50. And why? Because it's very, very affordable, very, very cheap in regards to what you can buy for the image quality that you get for this. For example, you could pick one of these guys up, the Nikon 50 1.8D. This is an older lens. They still make them brand new, which I actually did not know. I only thought they started making the D versions, the ones that are built a little better. They're not as cheap feeling and sounding, and they're way better in autofocusing. But you could pick one of these up for about $104 for the imported models, all depending on where you're from, and $119 brand new. Now, I found this used for like $70, so that's also a thing you can really look into as well. So essentially, this has 7 blades, and the bokeh, what do you expect for a lens that isn't, terribly expensive and terribly great? It does what it needs to be. It claims to be a portrait and a light travel lens. Definitely agree about 2 of those 3. It is light, and it is more of a travel lens. Good for street photography, I'd say. Some might argue the 35 or the 50. But as a portrait lens, I think it does okay, but I'm not really a fan of 50 millimeters for portraits. But just starting out, just getting into photography, you have your kit lens, you need something else to buy. This is a great option if you're in that situation, and it's really strong for the price. Now I'm going to do some close-up as well, but as you can see, I mean, this isn't a whole lot of glass, but it is wide. This is a 52 millimeter filter mount if you're into filters, and essentially you have two dobs and niles. Essentially you have an aperture ring, which essentially will not work on your camera. It won't meter or do anything unless you, go into your settings in your camera and say you're using an aperture ring if you have that option, and 2, you have to set it to f/22 and lock it in place, and then you can control the full range of the aperture through there. The full range you have is for f/1.8, really, really shallow depth of field, to f/22. You get something more deep, something better, more journalistic if you want to go that route. And in the front, you just have a very, very small, this is, once again, palm size type thing here. Your focus ring is right here. As you see, the barrel will move in and move out as you zoom. You go from infinity to to its biggest extent, and it's got a decent little throw to it. So it's not cheap. It's very smooth though, which is very, very nice. So for the price, it is pretty sharp. But one of the things I really that a lot of people have questions about is, will this actually autofocus on your camera? Well, a lot of lenses now, this is why the new popular lenses are over like $150, $200, especially the Nikon 50 1.8 G version, is that it will meter on your camera because it will autofocus on your camera because it has a built-in autofocusing on the lens. But the cheap way to look about that is there's 7 or 8 pins on those that can focus on any camera. If your lens doesn't have that, for example, you see 4 and then the connector pin right here. Once again, I'll do a close-up. You'll see that this doesn't have that many, and this will not focus on your camera by itself. Your body needs to have a built-in focusing motor. So some of your entry-level cameras, like the D3000s, some of the D5000 range, you won't be able to autofocus this. But on the better end stuff, the 7000, 7100, the 7200 that's coming up, you'll be able to autofocus this, and it'll be a strong companion. Really, my only 2 gripes about it is it's very, very cheap plastic build quality, but once again, that's exactly what you're buying. Other than that, the only thing I don't like is how it fits onto the camera. It's a very, very snug and tight fit. I wish that was a little more loose because I thought I was breaking the thing when I first put it on my Nikon D700. So overall, the Nikon 50 1.8D, it's a well worthy of a buy if you're just getting into photography. And why do I own it actually? Well, as I said, I never owned that, not even starting out. I started out with the Nikon 35 1.8G. But I wanted to try this for, I don't know if I have the video out or not, or if you guys seen it yet. I did it for free lensing because you want to have full control over the aperture as you're doing that. So with having the aperture ring, you can control over how to lens whack and all that kind of stuff and do some fun effects. and it's a fraction of the price. So just wanted to give my thoughts to that because I never commented on this, and this lens is still very popular. It's very, very affordable, especially if you're just starting out. So if you're just starting out, buy it. I mean, it's really, really cheap. Once again, I found it on B&H Photo for $70 shipped from New York to New Jersey. So really, really strong lens. Just wanted to give my thoughts. If you guys and girls have any comments, please write those down below about the Nikon's Nifty 50 1.8.